Welcome to the Texas Goat Radio Show. I'm your host, Motwarias. This is part one of the 1782 live stream by Owen Benjamin.
People's champion. Hi, everybody. I have a good one for you today. A really funny one. A little more light than yesterday, even though yesterday I thought was solid. But today we're going to talk about Gary Rockefeller. His real name's Michael Rockefeller. I was looking into the history because that one letter I got about how do you get out of these families. I looked at George H.W. Bush, his life, and Nelson Rockefeller's son Michael's life. And I'll give you a hint, both involve cannibalism. Okay, so we'll get into...
One of the terrible things about Owen Benjamin, and I find it terrible, is because no matter if whatever he says intrigues me, I just shut it off. But I don't think that Owen Benjamin is a well worthy of obtaining any kind of information from, just because there is some form of contamination in it, in my opinion.
That I also have some funny stuff here. So I know I talked yesterday about how the Soviet Empire, the Soviet empire, I guess, Soviet Union, the Union of Soviets.
And so while he's actually just trying to, what he's doing is I believe that he's just stealing from somebody else's podcast. He wrote down, because that's what he said the other day whenever he was talking about Coca-Cola. He clearly said that he watched a couple podcasts, took notes, and just stole whatever kind of setup that they had to deliver the information. And so whenever he's talking about anything really that could fascinate me or anybody else, I'm just going to speed it up fairly quickly.
Would have these cards that the police would keep in order to differentiate between nations. Now, a nation is not a country. A nation is not an empire. A nation is a bloodline. It's a group of people. So there you can see that those are the Turkmen, the Tajik, the Moldovan.
So by that definition, the United States is not a nation then, because we're a melting pot of we're a collaboration of different bloodlines and ethnicities and whatnot.
Azerbaijani, the Estonian, the Latvian. Here's another group. You have the Uzbek, Kazakh, Armenian. There's Harry Bear right there. The Georgian, the Lithuanian, the Belarusian, and what do you have here? There's a little guy we all know. You got the Gypsy there that looks a lot like Jacobad, and then you have his little buddy, the Jay, the Tartar, which is clearly Stefan Molyneux, the Ukrainian, and the Russian. So that's what they all look like. Okay, let's start things off with a little humor. So this is feminism's pretty much, and guys, I'm not blaming women for this, by the way. I'm blaming men, because women are to be protected and guided by men. If we blame women for feminism, we give up our authority to women. Remember when I talked a few days ago about how always, if you're the boss, if you're the authority figure, always take responsibility for everything. Let's say you have an employee that gets caught stealing. You have an employee that doesn't show up for work. It's your fault. Always take accountability for it. Whether it's that you hired the wrong person, you didn't create the right culture, you didn't nip it in the bud early enough. Because if you give that up, you give up your authority. If you blame women for feminism,
it is clearly not as black and white as that. It isn't. As somebody that has ran multiple businesses, that has been in charge of dozens of employees, it is not as black and white as that. It sounds good-ish. And I'm not trying to argue that you shouldn't take some responsibility, but I mean, that's not, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Give up your authority over women. And you don't want to do that because they clearly are not doing a great job governing themselves. I have compassion for feminism because a lot of men started listening to Led Zeppelin and smoking doobies and getting blowjobs in Buicks, staring at that.
I find that a lot of people, because there's a dynamic inside of a house. There's me, the husband, I have a wife, and I have a child. Whenever I say that I'm a freedom of speech absolutist, I would hope that it would be assumed that that does not spill in. I'm a freedom of speech absolutist whenever it comes to society, not within my home. My son cannot cuss out and disrespect his mother, nor I. That's not what I mean by that. And so there's different rules for different situations, as far as I'm concerned. I could very well be wrong. I am often wrong, but that's why conversations are important.
herself on, and a lot of women felt unsafe. They felt like they had to make their own money. My wife went through that. My wife's original biological dad left them when she was very young, and so she always had this feeling that she had to take care of herself. And so my wife went to Seattle University on a scholarship for engineering, USC on a scholarship, master's in structural engineering. She was ready to take care of herself, and she also wanted a family, though. She really wanted
Whenever you zoom out and take in, if that's true, what he just said about his wife, it's really interesting that they decided to have the life that they have right now, where they just lie and manipulate. Because it is a cult. They do run a cult, that's for sure. I say for sure in my opinion. Now, other people have their own opinions, but in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions, this is without a doubt a cult. And so if it is true that she did go to school for that, she is intellectually capable. And it's just really interesting. Why would a couple, why would two grown people choose to lie, manipulate, and swindle their way into, I wouldn't call it success, but financial gain?
family, but she was completely in the mindset that she had to be the woman and the man because she was raised for so many years as a child without that male protector. So I'm not this just screeching man that hates feminism. I totally understand it. It's obviously ridiculous, though. And when women try to be like men, they embarrass themselves. It's kind of like if you told a retarded guy that their car runs on pee. Here we go. This is it right here.
And she's going to play, and she's going to kick off and maybe even do some field goals tonight for the Jackson State Tigers. Of course,
Okay, so I saw a highlight of this, and I did not click on the video. I don't know if that tells you something about myself. I didn't care to see it, but it seemed to be positive. The headlines that I saw multiple videos of this, and the different headlines, it seemed to be very supportive. Now, the way he's bringing this up, they could have been being sarcastic. I have no idea. So this is the first time I'm seeing this clip, actually.
Was on the Jackson State women's soccer team, and because of injuries this week during practice, she's going to get her shot tonight to be a kicker. And what an impressive young lady has been, and a chance for her. And I'm sure she's pretty nervous at this point, but they have her out there, and sweat football is underway in the.
Okay, 1 second. I'm just lighting my fire. Give me 1 second.
Oh, so what was that? 25 yards? Maybe.
So that's obviously retarded. And that was not an onside kick. I happen to be friends with a Division I All-American kicker under Nick Saban. You guys know him as Squirts Inside Himself Bear, Christopher Gardner. And this is crazy. That was not an onside kick. That's a woman trying to do a man's job. Okay, you guys want to watch it again? And look at her little net brace on her leg. Let's watch it.
And I've got a different opinion on professional sports as well. So, entertainment, yeah.
And she's going to play, and she's going to kick off and maybe even do some field goals tonight
He's got to
for
play
the Jackson State
at
Tigers.
least
Of course, she was on the Jackson State
one or two
women's
more times.
soccer team, and because of injuries this week during practice, she's going to get her shot tonight to be a kicker. And what an impressive young lady.
Whenever I said entertainment, I'm not trying to take away from the professional and the athletic prowess it takes to do something like this. I'm just, I tend to lean towards the opinion of those that say the Coliseum type thing is, which I've heard Owen regurgitate this as well, and of course I didn't originate this thought, but the whole entertainment, professional football, basketball, all that kind of stuff is just to first off, false idols for one, and to distract the masses. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with entertainment, but that's just how I see it.
He's been in a chance for her, and I'm sure she's pretty nervous at this point. But they have her out there, and sweat football is underway in the.
About
so that's like if you told a retarded guy, like putting a woman on a football field is like telling a retarded guy that if he pees in his gas tank, it'll run for 1,000 million miles.
That makes zero sense. If you tell someone that will believe you that if they pee in their gas tank, it'll drive for 1,000 miles. It won't. and she has a uniform on. She was able to actually kick the ball. It did go forward, and so that's not the same thing whatsoever.
And sure, it's hilarious watching the little retarded guy drop his pants to his ankles and piss in his little Civic. And then
So we are less than 10 minutes in, and he is already painting the picture of someone de-trousing themselves.
hop in there and run out of gas. Yeah, it's cruel. It's a little funny, but I don't recommend it. You know, I think it's a little cruel. Related story, the other team's coach came up with the idea of starting her. Oh, Coddington, do you guys want to see Coddington every time he does a joke? This is how Coddington feels every time he tells a joke in the comment section. This is him.
I saw this clip the other day, and this is something else.
Typing, send. This is Coddington every time he comes up with a pun. Struts in, distracts, delivers. I've watched this, I'm not kidding, like 100 times. I'm not exaggerating 100 times. Every aspect of it, from his he does this little pompous walk with these
He read through the comment section because that was one of the top comments about the strut and all that kind of stuff and blah, blah, blah. Stealing other people's lines, blah, blah, blah.
And movements, points, and bang.
That delivery, though, the spin, crazy.
And then the woman gets so mad at little Coddington. She's like, fuck you. And the bee is smiling. Like, every aspect of this makes me laugh. This Coddington about to do a pun in the chat, and he knows I'm going to get mad. Look over here, bitch. Bang.
So in this analogy, Coddington is the dude that's doing the little strut walk throw, and Owen is the girl that's getting the delivery to the face.
And then Simone Poppy is smiling, saying, ha, ha, ha. All right, so watch his walk, and then the delivery. And how mad, the woman is so mad at the gay guy. I don't even know if he's gay. He walks like a gay, but I think he's doing a patito walk, like a dirty duck. Patito sucio, mariposa. Because he's trying to distract and just be, odd. Like, he's trying to confuse the mark. He does a little thing over there, and, dude, that shot is unbelievable. Bang. Dude, let's watch it one more time.
Yeah, so he says, let's start off with comedy, and he starts playing. So he's a clip channel now. He's one of those TikTokers that just comment over other people's videos. Or, I mean, I felt the irony on that. the TikTokers that just go through other people's TikToks, the shorts, where they take, y'all know what I'm talking about, the short little funny things.
And she's like, fuck you, fuck you. Okay, hilarious stand-up bit. It's funny how this works. Every time I talk shit about stand-up comedy and say it all sucks, which it does on Netflix and Amazon, and I know these guys, they suck. I get to see a bit that's hysterical, and this is exactly about what we've been talking about all week. The synchronicities are off the charts, and this guy's bit, I don't know what his name is, and if I find out, I'll let you know. But
yeah, no, he could have known. He could have found out who this guy was beforehand, but he didn't because he doesn't want to give anybody else any props. I went through the comment section whenever I saw him post this on his Instagram. Somebody commented shortly after asking what the guy's name was, and I checked it again today, and they actually said the guy's name, and I'm not too sure who it is. I will pause this. So this is, sorry for if the camera messes up or if the screen recorder messes up. This is 17 hours ago, and so he went live at what? It had been 4 o'clock my time. He had the guy's name on his Instagram. He still didn't give him credit for it. So let's go to him, and it is Taylor Rogers. It is Taylor Rogers on Instagram is this comedian's name. Once again, it is Taylor Rogers, and he very well could have. He had the name in his Instagram comment section where people were calling him out saying, why didn't you tag him? He could have given this dude a shout out. He just decided not to, whether it was because he just didn't want to, or it was because he was just way too lazy to actually give him credit.
He does a bit about Coca-Cola, exactly what we were talking about. And this is definitely before I talked about it, so I'm not saying he was lifting my tab down. I'm not going to accuse people of shit anymore. I'm starting to think that I think it sounds weak to do these accusations about people, because when people do that with me, I'm like, you're such a fucking pussy. Like, I don't even care.
Yeah, no, this is a good point right here. Owen Benjamin has admitted to stealing other people's ideas, intellectual property, and the reason why he justifies it is because he has a larger audience. And so, yeah, you better believe he's going to stop calling other people out because he himself does it. He has said that the reason why he justifies stealing other people's jokes and whatever ideas is because he has a bigger audience than them, and so therefore it reaches more people, and that's why he deserves the credit for it.
I mean, the Chappelle thing, it's fine, but I don't care anymore. This bit is awesome. I wish I wrote it. I'm actually a little in awe at how
that, and a whole lot of people are finding out that he didn't write the whole "The Blank Stole My Bike" song because it came out like a decade before he actually started singing it himself.
well it's written.
They're gentrifying snack foods now. You guys have seen this.
All right, so this is the Texas Goat Radio Show. I'm your host, Motwarias. There's a couple of people asking how they can support this channel. And I'm on Patreon at the Texas Goat Radio Show, and right now, Cash App, the cash symbol, MOTWARIAS. And if you want to reach out to me, if you don't want to go through the comment section, my email is motwarias@gmail.com. This is the Texas Goat Radio Show, and I'm your host, Motwarias. As always, till next time. And you can send messages through the email if you have any ideas or constructive criticism, or if you just want to talk crap and you don't want to put it in the comment section, whatever. It's just open up. I do try to get on there at least once a day, but I don't have access to it through my phone. It won't let me put it on my phone for some reason. It was because it was attached to one of my other YouTube channels that got taken off by YouTube. And so I have to go through an actual desktop or a laptop. And so that's one of the reasons why I don't continuously check my email. But if you haven't yet, hit that like button. I'd appreciate that. Throw a comment down. And if you're not subscribed, I'd appreciate you subscribing. This is the Texas Go Radio Show, and I'm your host, Motwarias. As always, till next time.